You are listening to the Game Like Training podcast, where we talk about golf practice, golf learning, golf psychology, and all things golf. On this show, we are going to be sharing our thoughts and our beliefs that have come from a decade of being within this industry. Not only that, but we'll be talking to industry leaders, world-renowned academics, and pioneering professionals to bring you the most up-to-date information and evidence-based strategies to either improve your game or improve your coaching. Hi, I'm one of your hosts, Arick Zeigel.
And I'm your co-host, Iain Highfield. And to get started, I just want to say that we love golf and we love helping people. And it's that combined that has driven us to create this podcast. There's so much good information out there. We believe it's our responsibility to share that information with as many people as we can. So, if you like what you hear today, please share with your friends and let's push the golf industry forward. Arick.
Ian.
Nice hat, man. PXG.
Thank you.
Where can I get one of those?
PXG.com, I believe, is their website.
Oh, you can't hook me up now.
Oh, I mean, I could have. I could have.
Thanks. Okay, cool. So, today's show.
Yep.
My favorite topic. We've spoken about it a lot recently, but we're going to keep going. Effective practice.
Love it.
So, we're going to talk effective practice, but in true game-like training fashion, we're going to turn it into a game.
Oh, God. I had no idea what I was agreeing to.
Yeah, this podcast is going to be amazing or a complete flop. So I'm going to focus on the amazing. So
I like it.
This is what we're going to do. Our goal is to make the up-to-date information accessible, digestible, and practical for golfers and golf coaches. And a great way to communicate is through stories or analogies. So today, I am going to give you an analogy that I believe relates to golf practice.
Okay.
I want you to firstly decode the analogy.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it to you. You're going to decode it.
Okay.
And then the second thing, I want you to provide a solution. Because once you've decoded it, it's going to be a problem, right? So this is the whole goal of this podcast. There's a big problem in the golf industry with how people practice and taking their range game to the course.
Oh, I thought you were going to say divot patterns.
So ultimately, you're going to decode the analogy, and then that will reflect a problem, and then you're going to offer up a solution. All right?
Game on.
Are we ready? So, first analogy.
Is Ramel going to put some like cool music in this? Like, do.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you could. We'll let Ramel do
I feel like
thing.
I'm on a game show right now. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. First analogy that relates to golf practice. You're in school and the teacher asks you, Arick, what's 5 add 5?
10.
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 What do you believe about that maths lesson?
I feel like it's been extremely repetitive and challenging on no level.
Okay. Would that help you learn?
No.
Why not?
Because it's simple. I'm repeating the answer. The first time I have to think about it, and every time after that, it's just repetition.
Arick, first point in the game.
Yes.
For your next point, how does that relate to golf practice?
Oh, let's see, shall we? Relates to golf practice. All you have to do is look out your window if, at a driving range. That is basically the analogy you just gave. People hitting mass amounts of balls with the same club to the same target, basically trying to repeat that perfect swing. So there's no problem solving. There's no having to come up with a solution, which is, things that are required when you're performing, when you're out on the golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were sat in that maths class as a student, your cognitive engagement would be very low.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
So there's no cognitive stress. Cognitive stress is what leads to learning, right? So that's what that analogy is to encapsulate. But well done. You cracked the code. You got the points. Now, How do we change that? How can we use the golf range to create cognitive stress and then offer up a solution to the listeners? This is like your exam, man, for part of becoming game like training.
Yeah, I know. Weird. So the solution for this is obviously understanding spacing, variability, and challenge. And those are kind of the three things that you'll hear repeatedly if you watch any of our materials or read any of our materials or watch any, whatever it is, whatever platform you're looking at, you'll see and hear us talk about this a lot. So spacing is simply just how much time there is between activities or actions. So in this case, on the driving range, it would be between, say, hitting a 7-iron. So the amount of time between that 7-iron. So right now, typical driving range atmosphere, very little spacing because it's just that rake and hit. The variability would be simply kind of how frequently or how many different kind of tasks you're incorporating within that environment. So again, going back to the current state of the driving range, hitting 7-iron 100 times, there is no variability. They're not, even on a simple level, not even changing targets, let alone changing clubs very frequently. So that would be variability. And then challenge is, if you're associating some sort of outcome to the shot. So on the golf course, the challenge is obviously to get the ball in the hole in as few strokes as possible. The driving range, like, what are you actually trying to achieve? So the challenge can be adding a score to your training, or challenge can even be kind of manipulated through spacing and variability as well.
Yeah, awesome. So for the golfers listening to this, they're going to go to the range. Just what's one way they could specifically add variability? I'm going to give the spacing one because it's one of my favorites. And also someone once told me I couldn't do it. So I really want to say that you got to do this.
Okay.
So you give me the variability and I'll do spacing.
Easy way for variability. I'll give a couple. So if you're kind of confined to the driving range, we'll say, or if you don't have the motivation to go from the driving range to the putting green, frequently, because that's an easy way to kind of increase spacing and obviously variability of the task. Is an easy way would be just to hit, even if you do it in 5-ball clumps, 5 balls with, I'd call them kind of scoring irons. So 7, 8, 9, changing targets each time, or, to the best you can with what you have out in front of you. And then it could be 5 balls driver, 5-ball wedges, and you can just create, that's a very simple way to start to include some variability in your practice. On the more, like we said, the more motivated side of it would be.
I think simple's good.
Okay. I was just going to say you could basically hit 5 balls on the range, and then you have to go make a 5-foot putt. Right.
Okay.
And if your motivation's high, that would be the better way to do it.
The only reason I was going to cut you off is because I wanted to send people to the practice guide that we have online. Little plug there. Okay, but yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
And Ramel can flash up the practice guide, gltgolf.com/resources. Get the website right. And we have actually a winter practice guide that talks about this a lot.
Yeah, because winter is here.
Yeah, it's here in force.
Winter is here.
A great way to create spacing, the pyramid or your balls. If your hitting zone is here, have your pyramid or your golf balls 7 or 8 steps back. And, like Arick said, you could take 5 balls at a time. You could take 1 ball at a time. But what that space does, putting time in between reps, you actually start to forget what it was that you just did on the previous rep. So then you have to use your memory to recall that, and that induces deeper learning. So for the golfers listening or golf coaches that want to help their players practice more effectively, really simple way to add spacing. Okay?
It's all geared towards that cognitive stress, right?
Yep. So spacing, variability, and challenge, keep the student engaged, keep the brain, create cognitive stress, and this is what creates learning. Mm-hmm. As Matthew would say, the process of synaptogenesis.
Yep.
The wires in your brain forming together versus just stimulating blood flow.
Yeah, which is oftentimes what we see.
Yeah, when you're just repping balls, rep.
Yeah, it's more of a physical activity than it is
Yeah.
a
So
cognitive.
ultimately, you want repetition, but you want repetition without repetition, to steal one from Stuart Morgan.
Yep.
Okay, next analogy. You did well, man. You passed that one,
Good.
which also means I'm a great communicator. So thanks for that. Okay. You have a cough.
Okay.
So you decide, I'm going to go to the doctor.
Okay.
So you go to the doctor, and the doctor uses all the latest technology to test out, get x-rays and heartbeat and whatever else. All the latest technology, and they diagnose what's wrong with you. And they tell you specifically, this is why you're coughing.
Okay.
And then they ask you to leave the surgery, and that's it.
Okay.
What do you think about that, doctor?
So they gave me no prescription or solution. They told me why, but they didn't give me. Correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all the latest technology gave you a diagnosis. The diagnosis was explained to you.
And then I left.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be kind of pissed off to leave without a solution or a course of action to kind of resolve the issue.
Okay, big question. How does that relate to golf practice or golf teaching?
Okay. Yeah. Fair question. So I think it definitely relates to, golfers seeking out help and advice from an instructor and being told that their backswing, whatever it is, there's something, this is what's wrong. This is what's causing the problems with the ball flight. And then they'll give you some drills, but there's no actual plan as far as this is how much time it's going to, not how much time, this is how you need to train to get this to retain and transfer.
That's the key. Yeah, there you go. That's the key word. You go into a golf lesson, and golf coaches have the just mind-blowing understanding on the golf swing and the mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
The technology that some of these guys use is startling. Mm-hmm. It's way beyond me. Mm-hmm. And that's not my area. And I love it when I'm with coaches and they talk about this. My time at Bishopsgate, around some of those guys, I got heavily into understanding this. It's fun and it's cool. But you can have the best diagnosis in the world. If you're not given a prescription in the form of an effective practice plan, then it's like being given no medicine from the doctor. You're not going to create that change. The ailment in your body isn't going to get better if the doctor doesn't give you a prescription. The ailments in your golf swing aren't going to reduce or be cared for if you're not given a plan on how to reduce them, on how to make them better.
Yeah, it's almost like being given the prescription, but on the prescription it doesn't actually say how frequently you're supposed to take it, how often you're supposed to take it, what dosage you're supposed to take. You kind of have this, you're like, okay, well, I know I need to do this with my swing, but I don't have any idea.
It's getting deep now.
How many of these I should take. I think that is a stronger analogy.
So, okay, what do we do? What is the solution? How do we help players? We have when a coach does a lesson, mm-hmm. and a player leaves that lesson, they have to have a clear action or a clear understanding of what.
That was the question.
Yeah,
clear
to
understanding
you.
Of how to, well, basically for them, how to create an effective environment to take those drills or that training aid or whatever they were prescribed, and they need to be able to take that into this environment to practice it and see that retention of the skill.
And the plan has to include, the prescription or the practice plan has to include
spacing, variability, and challenge.
Yeah, bonus point. Okay,
ding,
so
ding,
look,
ding.
and look, a credit to yourself. Obviously, the academy that we run, you do a majority of the coaching there, and I know that every student leaves with a practice plan. And that's whether they're a businessman and they can practice 2 hours a week, or whether they're a collegiate golfer with goals of playing on tour. It's all relative. Those plans can be adjusted into your lifestyle. Correct?
100%.
Awesome. Good job. Okay. Final one. Ready?
Yeah.
Final
go
one.
for it.
You decide that you want to be an Olympic swimmer.
I mean, I have the physique for it.
Yeah, you can dive in and touch the other end of the pool.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been in a pool.
So you decide you want to be an Olympic swimmer, the next Michael Phelps.
Okay.
You got two options. You can go into your bathtub and work on perfecting your stroke, or you can go to the swimming pool and race against other athletes with the same goals and dreams that you have. Which one are you going to choose?
I would go and compete against the athletes in a full-size pool.
Which one do a lot of club golfers choose?
Bathtub.
Explain that relating to golf from what you see and what I see when we're up at the golf course.
So the reason I say that is because in that analogy, you know, it's easy, convenient, safe. You don't look bad if you're not competing against somebody, or if you're not kind of putting yourself out there, stepping outside of that state of equilibrium. You're never going to really challenge yourself. And so most people on the driving range, when you look at them, it is that what's easy, what's convenient. I have a pile of balls next to me. I love my 7-iron. Like, you know, if there's any golfers listening to this, I would challenge them to maybe next time they go to the range, like, what's the one club that, you know, you always grab, and then you don't get to use that one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you look at it through a player's bag, your typical person on the range, you'll see that wear mark on like one club.
Yeah.
So I think it's people, again, they don't want to be challenged. They don't. It's not convenient to have this element of spacing. It's not convenient to add the variability to it, and so I think people shy away from that. And it's also probably a lack of education.
Agreed. And look, I also see an underlying belief of, well, when I master my technique or when I master my swing, I'll then go onto the golf course.
Yeah, okay.
But that's very one-dimensional, right?
Yeah.
Part of mastering your golf technique is understanding the environment around you. It's understanding, like, when you see a shot, okay, the wind's off the right, the lie is doing this, so the ball's going to come out a bit lower, and then it's going to move this way. That pin is there. I don't need to go for that pin. I'm into the grain, whatever it might be, all the variables. You don't get them on the golf range. So you have to practice in context. And there is a place for the golf range, right? I'm not bashing the golf range.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is at some point, you've got to get on the golf course and you've got to fail to learn. And then the second point to this is, if you play club golf or competitive golf, at some point you're going to experience the stress response.
Yes.
At some point, you are going to be in a position where you might be able to achieve something that you wanted to achieve, like get your name on the board or win the member guest or get on a mini tour or progress to the web.com, whatever it might be.
Or it can even be just playing in a new foursome.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you don't only have to adapt to the environmental demands of playing golf. Your practice has to help you adapt to the psychological demands.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why retention and transfer of golfing skill is often low. That's why one of the questions that we're most asked, and the reason we started this business and the hours and hours of investigation and education that we've put ourselves through is, hey, Arick, hey, Ian, why can't I take my range game to the golf course?
Yeah.
So, simple answer, spacing, variability, challenge, include them in your practice, and also create context that's going to help you adapt to the environmental and psychological demands
and
of
context
golf.
is created through?
Context is created through, it comes all the way back around, spacing, variability, and challenge.
Yeah. So when you increase spacing, when you increase variability, and when you increase challenge, you start to create a more contextualized environment. Love it.
Did we nail it? Is this going to be a success or is it going to be a flop? When I listen to this back, I might be confused myself. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think it was good. I think the way I took your analogy on the doctor one and spun it into a little bit deeper, I think that's going to help people.
I agree. I am a master communicator. That's what I heard. That's what I heard you just say.
No, that was good. That was
okay.
Good. I think that's important.
Well, you're the host and I'm the co-host, but I hosted so I'm kind of gonna.
It's just because I kill the intro. I'm so good at the intro.
So I'm gonna let you close it, man. Wrap it up.
Cool. So if you're not currently following us on any social media platform or on the website, make sure you check us out, gltgolf.com. In the top right corner, there is a subscribe button. You can get added to our email list so you stay up to date with all the podcasts we have coming out, as well as education courses like the one here behind us. Ian just finished his GLT Golf Psychology Mental Performance course, excuse me.
And just let me, it's not just me. I got support from an incredible coach in England, Dr. David Gressick. And
he's incredible.
Yeah. And we have other podcasts that we'll link that we've done with him and information. And also one of my idols who wrote the book Peak, Dr. Anders Ericsson, who really is the godfather of human performance and learning.
He's the expert in expert performance.
Yeah, there you go. So both of those appear on the course. It's completely free. I put a lot of time and energy into it. Ramel put a lot of time and energy dealing with me in front of the camera. But I think we've created something nice that can really help golf coaches, help their players develop good psychological habits to help them relax and enjoy this game.
Yeah, no, I think it's something everybody should check out. Whether you're a coach, whether you're a student, whether you even play golf, I think there's definitely things that can be pulled from it and applied into any sport domain. We also have another course out. Matthew Cook has his course on motor learning. If you haven't checked that one out, make sure to do so. That one is also free. And then we have another one in the works, a teaching with technology course.
Who's that one by?
That one's by myself with some input from you, I think. No, there's some input from you. So it's been that's been fun. So looking forward to getting that out to everybody. This podcast will be on SoundCloud. It'll also be on our website. It'll be on YouTube. So if you need to find us, we're also on Facebook, Game Like Training Golf, Instagram, GL Training Golf. Everything we publish gets put up some way, shape, or form on all of these platforms except for Snapchat. That's the only thing we don't have. Also have a YouTube channel, Game Like Training. You can watch the podcast there. And then we also have, we're now on iTunes. Podcast. So you can also find us there as well, Game Like Training Golf. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Hope everybody took something away from this. And I'm glad I passed the test.
Good job, man. That was fun.
Yep.